So I just wanted to do a little update video on the Ej205 swap into a 2.5 RS. What I'm currently working on is getting this engine ready to drop in. So I got the flywheel back there bolted in. I got that resurfaced from Pep Boys. I think it was $40, and that's the flywheel from the original 2.5 RS engine. So I'm using the stock flywheel. I didn't want to. I know you can go with a lightweight flywheel, but honestly, I just went with the original one because it was still in good shape. It was never machined down, so it had plenty of life in it. And then I also got the valve covers done. So I put new valve cover gaskets in there, and I painted the valve covers. This is just high temp engine paint, and I used the aluminum color because I was going to do them black, but then with black it's kind of hard to see when it's leaking oil. So with a lighter color, you can, even just without me touching it, you can kind of see the grease. So if any of these are leaking, it will be easy to spot if it's a lighter color like that. And it's just basic aluminum color, no clear or anything like that. So I got that all done. I put a new oil pan on this engine because the original one, the bolt on the bottom was stripped out. So I switched that out while the engine was out. What else did I do? So I put the Turbo Crossmember in it too. So this one I bought off Craigslist. I think I bought this for $80, and as you can see, it has those cutouts, so that's where the up pipe goes on the Ej205. So you need this cross member if you want to do the swap. You can notch the stock one, but honestly, for $80, just buy one. I found them on eBay and stuff for a little bit more, but it's just better to have an OEM one than notching it. And I don't have access to a welder or anything like that, so, and it just bolts right in. So it's just 4 bolts right there, right there. You have to undo the steering right there. Take off the front sway bar. You also have to undo the tie rods right there. And then the 1 bolt right there for the A-arm. And it's kind of a pain to get out. It's pretty tight. I know you could undo the A-arms completely, but I just did that 1 bolt. And I was able to get the crossmember out with the power steering rack still connected, which is good because it made it a lot easier to switch out. And then I also put in some white line, the heavy duty steering rack mounts, and this is a 2000 2.5 RS, so you need this size, a 202. There's a couple, and this one actually came with both of them, so I know there's a lot of info about which one to use. As far as the passenger side, it's either a 25mm or it's a 30mm. And this packet I bought on Amazon, it came with both of them, so I didn't use that one. And you can just measure your mount. So it's hard to see one right now, but once you take the cross member out, you'll see the bracket and you just measure it and see what size it is. But like I said, this came with both of them, which is kind of nice. Let's see. So yeah, I got that in. This is X power steering lines because I know you have to switch those over, and I just put those on when I had the cross member out, which is also, it's not too bad. And then I cleaned up the transmission housing. It was just really dirty. You can still see there's a bunch of crap in there still, so I'm gonna scrub it a little bit more. And then I gotta put a new throwout bearing on there. This is the original one. You can hear how loud it is. This is it had the original clutch in it, so be good to switch that out. And what else? So this engine, honestly it's pretty beat up. As you can see, I didn't notice this, but this timing belt cover is cracked all the way. And to take this back piece off, you have to take off the timing belt, and you have to take off the crank shaft pulleys, which it's just this timing belt was just done. And I don't know too much about this engine because it was swapped and the debris X that I bought, so I honestly don't know the compression numbers, which I should have done before, but I didn't. I know it was running, so I'm just going to get this engine in. That way I know I hooked everything up right as far as the wiring goes. I just wanted to get this car running, and then, after that I'll figure out what I want to do. I'm just going to run that engine until something breaks, but yeah, I'm just going to get it in. So I'm going to get this in tonight, actually. I guess got to put the clutch on it, do the throwout bearing, and I was just still waiting on the harness from iWire, but I talked to the guy there. They're super helpful, and they said that I can get this engine in and get everything bolted in and put in the harness afterwards. So I'm going to do that. So it's just going to be kind of a pain to get those two out through the firewall into here, just because the turbo is probably going to be right there, but I'm going to leave the downpipe off. That way I'll have a little bit more room to pull those wires in. And then the other wires on this side of the engine, so you can see these two plugs on this side. Well, those will run through the fender. So it runs where the stock harness runs through. So they said just take off this fender, and then you'll just lay their harness on top of the original one, and then just run it through this same hole, and then the harness will be right there. And I'm not too sure if I have to take anything out or if I just leave this in, because this is for on top of the alternator. I don't think I need to mess with any of this, because I don't think there's any engine connections on this side from the original one. I honestly don't remember. So that shouldn't be a problem. Let's just get in the ones through there. Might be a little bit of the issue. And also, as you can see, I still have the air conditioning connected, and then I have the AC compressor. And from what I read, the 2.5 RS AC pump or AC compressor should bolt straight to the engine right there. And the only issue is this hard line, because the intercool is going to be right there. So from what I read, you just have to bend this back. And we'll see how that works. Like I said, I want to keep AC in this car because it's going to be my daily car, and not having AC definitely sucks. And then also what I did while the engine out, I just cleaned the engine bay. I just used some degreaser and got this engine bay really clean. Actually, this paint's in really good shape, so I'm pretty stoked on that. As you can see, it's really clean. So might as well just do that if you're doing this swap. Clean your engine bay really well, and yeah, that should be good.